story. Was that a roast? So Sri mentioned earlier J-O-B. I'm J-O-B, J-O-B. Oh, job. Still haven't got one, right?
Technically, this counts.
This counts.
Research fellow counts.
First of all, how's everything going tonight? It's a great event, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and... Actually, I crossed it off. She said there's no boys and girls here. Nona Verunge, Saha Ma Verunge, Ayubowan, Sudasanya Vatvela, Sava Sadre Piliganava. Or, for those non-Singly speakers, long life, good evening, and a very, very warm welcome to all. On behalf of Sri and Sri Mali, I would like to welcome everyone here this evening as we celebrate a truly remarkable achievement by a truly remarkable young man. And I learned many years ago, always have a tissue with you when you give speeches. As Martin Luther King Jr. once said, the function of education is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically. King also said that intelligence plus character, that is the goal of true education. And as we all know, Dilip possesses both intelligence, a lot of it, and a great character. You know, I'll never forget, actually I have to tell you, I saw Dilip earlier, I'm like, I hadn't seen him like in 10 years, I didn't recognize him. I'll never forget when I first met Dilip. He must have been about 12 years old or so. My wife Rosie and I had recently returned here from Japan, and we were in Citibank waiting to talk to our friend and banker Fatima, who's over Fatima. Dilip was also there with Sri Mali, who was already speaking with Fatima. So Dilip must have been walking around and heard Rose and I speaking Sinhalese, because, as he later related to me, he told Sri Mali in Sinhalese something to the effect of, me, Mekania Masuda Ahe, Singling Dakaranava, Eage Bari Abatekya, Natang Eage Pembati. Loosely translated, Mom, there's a white guy over there speaking Sinhalese with his wife. Or is that his girlfriend? As Sri Mali told me recently on the phone, her response to Dilip was something like, well, she didn't tell me this. First, she probably rolled her eyes at him. I'm like, And she said, please sit down, Philip. The uncle is American. He can't speak Sinhalese. You probably didn't hear him correctly. Ekatamai. Now, to say that someone with a mind like Dilip's only comes around once a blue moon might sound like hyperbole to some, but I don't think so. You know, I can remember so many times speaking with Dilip at the Chatsworth House. You remember those times? He'd use phrases like Laplace transformation, proportional integral derivative controller, or light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation, or he'd try to explain Einstein's theory of relativity to me. Really? And one time, is Juanita here? One time, Dilip began speaking to me in Latin. Latin. You know, my Latin has always been, well, how shall I put it, a bit rusty. I would literally just say, excuse me, Dilip, and I'd quickly walk away. Are you still using your Latin? Oh, you read your duties, Doc. I didn't know. But seriously, ever since I first met Dilip, he's always tried to challenge himself intellectually And I think that we must acknowledge the role that his parents and his schools, including of course his teachers, played in helping foster the notion that Dilip could do virtually anything he set his mind to, and to inspire and challenge him to do great things in life, which we all know he has done, and I'm sure will continue to do in the future. Don't worry, there's only 17 pages. Unfortunately, I'm not like Shri and the Rushes who know all this up here. Have another drink if you want, guys. Now, along with Dilip's superior intelligence comes a wonderful personality, possessing traits that I've always admired. Humility above all else immediately comes to mind, as well as compassion, warmth, understanding, empathy, friendliness, and wisdom. To quote President John F. Kennedy, leadership and learning are indispensable to each other. JFK also said, life is never easy. There's work to be done and obligations to be met. Obligations to truth, to justice, and to liberty. Now I'd like to talk about Stanford University for just a few moments. Founded in 1885 by California Senator Leland Stanford and his wife, Stanford has become a renowned research institution and the stomping grounds for some of the nation's brightest, not including me. Let's take a quick look now at just a few of the famous people who attended Stanford. Some graduated, some didn't. But this is audience participation time. So before I continue, can anyone here in the room tell me which two U.S. presidents attended Stanford? If you have an answer, just raise your hand and blurt it out. So I guess I have to give you the answers. That's on the next page. Well, they were Presidents Herbert Hoover, who was one of the pioneering graduates of Stanford, and John F. Kennedy. After obtaining his bachelor's degree from Harvard, JFK enrolled in the Stanford Graduate School. However, he left after one semester to help his father complete his memoirs. And by the way, JFK's son, JFK Jr., like Dilip, also graduated from Brown University with his bachelor's degree. Back to Stanford's former students: Chelsea Clinton, numerous senators, congressmen, and congresswomen, John Steinbeck, Sandra Day O'Connor, the first female justice of the U.S. Supreme Court, the founder and or co-founder of some of America's biggest tech companies in the world, namely Microsoft, Google, Netflix, and PayPal. And like Dilip, Elon Musk was also in the PhD program at Stanford. Unlike Dilip, however, Musk dropped out after only 2 days. Davos Deka. Should I continue in Sinhalese?
Make sure you
Miss-
translate it in English too.
Translate to English.
Translate in English
Yes,
too.
of course.
Because
I always do. And Sally Ride, the first American woman in space, was a professor at Stanford, which you might follow in being a professor at Stanford. Last page.
It's good.
Now, second only to Harvard's 188 billionaire graduates, Stanford has produced an impressive 74 billionaires. So you never know, Shri and Srimali, you might be able to retire earlier than expected. Of course, that means J-O-B. I just learned what that word meant. Now, sometimes I joke with people that I went to both Harvard and Yale. Of course, when they ask me what I studied, I say, studied? Oh no, I just visit each campus one summer. But I did go to Harvard and Yale. Dilip, on the other hand, I do stand-up on the weekends at the comedy club on Sunset. Okay? Dilip, on the other hand, actually earned both bachelor's and master's degrees from Brown University, which, as I'm sure you all know, is one of the 8 Ivy League schools in the U.S. And now a PhD from Stanford University. I am going to cry. Stanford, one of the top-ranked universities in the United States, if not the world. At this point, let's give Dilip a big round of applause for all that he has accomplished, and all before the tender age of only 29. Big round of applause. I was 29 just a couple of years ago.
Just like me.
As Aristotle once said, always if you ever want to give a speech, Aristotle, Plato, Aristophanes. As Aristotle once said, knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. And Aristotle also said, educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. So in closing, I'd like to say to Dilip, Rosie and I, and unfortunately my wife could not be here tonight because she is in, as my friend says, the mother country. But Rosie and I are very, very proud of you, as I'm certain your parents and everyone else here are. And we're certain that you will continue to challenge yourself, do amazing things in the future, and reach dizzying heights. Dilip, as they say in Sinhalese, Suba Patum Veva, Sa Vasanavata Obata. Congratulations and good luck to you. Thank you.